George, you have worked before on, sessions or similar sessions about Mozart's marriage. It's called Mozart's Marriage of Figaro. I'm not, an opera kind of like person, so maybe you can brief us. But I looked it up, and I can recognize the music. So would you like to tell us a little bit how Mozart's Marriage of Figaro relates to us as language teachers and our students, language learners?
Well, it doesn't really. The Marriage of Figaro is part of the film. Some of it shows in a film called the Shawshank Redemption. And you don't normally expect a teenager or even someone my age to be interested in classical music. The use of this song came through trying to surprise my students, really. So I played that song with them, which they haven't heard, and I tried to make them imagine where they would hear that. And they all said, okay, I'm relaxing, I'm somewhere on a beach listening to that. Others said I would turn the radio off immediately. And the last thing that someone would expect to hear this song is in prison, which is what happens in the film. So I used that to stimulate their curiosity. And Lilika yesterday mentioned something about prediction. Okay, and prediction is very important in this process because they use the critical thinking and they also use the schematic knowledge. And if you want to surprise them, you must offer something which is beyond what they already know, because the teenager is always a teenager. They're curious by nature. They want to discover new things. And something like that wouldn't normally interest them. But it did in that point because it was a surprise for them. And that's how it developed with them being interested. So we used that to bring into focus certain social issues like human dignity, like acts of defiance, respect, human rights, and so on.
Thank you, George. I was wondering again about that concept that you mentioned when, again, along the same lines here. It's about desensitizing, that group of students, as you name them, they are teenagers. What do you mean by desensitizing them?
Well, actually, it's desensitize them. It's a double negative because I think they are desensitized in certain things. Teenagers are always interested in, they have their own little world, and beyond that, nothing else exists. And it's not a modern day problem. It has always been that. I mean, my generation was that. Like that. And I think there are certain things like the concept of death, for example. In the old days, when someone died was in your neighborhood, perhaps it was a family member, you knew about it. And, but now, video games, death is a way of keeping score. It's in popular films everywhere. So it has lost what it used to mean. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, okay, people die on films every minute. So they think it's the same in real life. And we had been talking about the refugee problem from Turkey to the Greek islands. And when it came to people dying, they used degrading words, words we would normally use when animals die here. And this is something that really bothered me. And the whole conversation started from there. Okay, what does it actually mean? And how these problems are relevant to us.